Hi, a very good morning to all ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for some delay. Okay, let's start. Okay, so welcome to our first live online webinar in the year of 2022, which topic of next trend of IoT, LoRaWAN intelligent wireless vibration sensor. Okay, so this is your host for today. I'm Ku, a key account sales from Advantech Malaysia. Okay, so basically this will be the main agenda for today itself. So I'm as mentioned, I am Ku, so I will do the opening. Before I will pass the floor to my other respective colleague itself. So after my session will be our pleasure to invite the product manager for our vibration sensor from HQ, Mr. Stanley. So Mr. Stanley will introduce you guys on our WISE-2410, and he shall share some global success story to you guys as well. After Stanley, we have our senior application engineer of Advantech Malaysia, which is Mr. Halim. So I think you guys must be curious. Once you have your WISE-2410, what should you do and what should you don't? Okay, so Mr. Halim will tell you guys what to pay attention when you have your own WISE-2410. Okay, so after that, we shall continue with our another colleague from Advantech Malaysia, which is Mr. Tan, a solution engineer from Advantech Malaysia. So he will demonstrate how to do a dashboard using our WISE-2410 and our web access SCADA itself. Okay, then we will finish it off with some Q&A and wrap up. Okay, although you may see that the Q&A section will be at the last, but if you have any question during our session, you may write down in our chat box itself. We will answer you guys one by one during our Q&A. Okay. Okay, back to our topic for today. A next trend of IoT, a LoRaWAN intelligent wireless vibration sensor. When we look at these topics, right, normally we will focus on three things: LoRaWAN, wireless, and vibration sensor. First and foremost, I take the most easy to understand wording first, the wireless word. Okay, I think we all know about wireless. As today, more and more industry players, they start to choose or migrate to wireless system, because nowadays the cabling cost and the wiring cost getting higher and higher itself. Okay, but what kind of wireless option that we have in the market? Which wireless option is the best for your solution itself? Okay, so these are the few questions usually we will ask. Okay, for example, okay, never mind, I will share more. Okay, because wireless world is very unique. Okay, and the beauty of it is none of the single wireless technology able to fulfill all the requirements, because each of the wireless technologies, right, do have their own pro and cons itself. Okay, so in front of you, these are the list of the wireless communication that available in the market right now. Start from RFID, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, 3G, or LTE itself. These are the few technology we are quite well known, or say we have been listened to it, quite used to it already. Okay, so in simple word, how to say, each of the wireless technologies, right, do have their own pro and cons. Like for example, I take Wi-Fi as an example. You know that we are been used to Wi-Fi already, but Wi-Fi there's a limitation. Like for example, Wi-Fi we cannot go beyond 100 meters. Okay, another problem with Wi-Fi is if you want to use Wi-Fi in the factory area itself, okay, where you got a lot of interference, you got a lot of your machine in between, or a wall in between the sensor and the APs, right? The Wi-Fi signal tends to be very weak itself. Okay, so from this chart itself, right, if you we can separate into three groups. So okay, so first group we call Wi-Fi group. Second group we call a cellular group, which we have to depend on those cellular telecommunication provider. And last but not least, we have another new group coming up. It's called a LP1 group itself. Okay, LP1 actually stands for low power wide area network. Okay, it's a type of wireless telecommunication designed to allow long range communication at a low bit rate among teams. Okay, so this LP1 group itself, right, it can solve the Wi-Fi issue. Like for example, Wi-Fi, we cannot go beyond 100 meters. But if you got any application or requirement where you need to collect the signal way beyond 100 meters, you can consider our LP1 group itself. Okay, so as I say, the wireless world is very unique. Okay, you can't say that which of the wireless technology is the best. Okay, so we have to design based on your requirement, your environment itself. Okay, then just now back to our topics, right? There's one word called LoRaWAN. Okay, so LoRaWAN basically is considered part under LP1 group, and the LoRaWAN is the low power wide area networking protocol that built on top of the LoRa radio modulation technique itself. Okay, so as I mentioned just now, right, it is important to select the right wireless technology for your application. No wireless technology is the best, but we have to select and pick the right one for your application. Okay, so especially nowadays, the whole world is talking about Industrial 4.0, IoT, or even fourth revolution. We need to make sure that we can interconnect all our systems together by selecting the right technology. We can't leave anyone or any machine left out, because it's important to connect all the machines together itself to achieve Industrial 4.0. Okay, but looking at these slides, right, so we can see quite a fully automated production system, which consists of AGV, robot arm, maybe some PLC, CNC machine, your dashboard itself. Okay, but most of these systems, right, usually is used to improve the productivity, performance, or even generate more revenue to the company. Because by producing more product, you can generate more revenue to the company. But always we will neglect one very important area, which is the company rotating asset, such as pump, motor, or even compressor. Okay, because we take the machine as an example, definitely there's a motor inside the machine, or there's a motor inside the AGV also. Okay, because normally the factory is usually full of widely used rotating machine, like for example, motor, fans, pump, compressor, reducer, and compressor. Okay, but sadly to say, or unfortunately, right, those assets only will be paid attention when they're having issue. Okay, lucky enough, you do have some spare in your inventory for you to quickly change and resume back your operation or production. But how if you do not have the spare with you and you need to contact your supplier to come over to repair or even to send a new one over to you? Okay, but I think most of the industrial player will be all aware right now. Actually, nowadays, right, we're having a global component shortage at the moment. So perhaps some of the component that you need to use, right, having a long lead time issue, and the supplier only able to send over to you a new unit maybe next month, next 2 months, or even next 3 months itself. Okay, by waiting for the new supplier for sending you the new unit, so meaning that you're having an unplanned downtime, and this will directly affect your line performance OEE itself. Or even worse, your company might experience additional losses due to you're not able to meet your customer deadline. The customer that say, oh, you're not able to meet my deadline, we need to fine you, we need to charge you the penalty fee. So the company might experience additional losses. Okay, so that's why I invite you guys to join our webinar for today. Introduce to you all our Advantech wireless vibration sensor WISE-2410. Okay, next I shall pass the floor to my HQ product manager, Mr. Stanley, on introduce you guys more detail on our WISE-2410, as well as share some success story with you guys. Over to you, Stanley.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Stanley from Advantech Industrial IoT Group, and today I will introduce the WISE-2410, a small vibration sensing solution to you guys. And first, I would like to share the market trends with everyone. So the predictive maintenance or the condition-based monitoring is an old and high demanded necessary mission for factories. And it based on the collection and management and intelligence use of data. And this method is focused on asset health checkings. And traditionally, the workers will climb up and down with these portable vibration meters or analyzers uh, for monitoring the asset health status one by one. And actually, it's quite dangerous for workers and it's extremely inefficiency as well. So as the technology improves every day, and now we can make the predictive maintenance solution become more intelligent. So we can make it with some civilian wire solution or even the wireless solutions. And so with more and more better to use and easier to understand solutions, we can make the predictive maintenance markets. It actually keeps increasing in the past few years. So several reasons to make you understand why predictive maintenance is important for factories. So based on the reports, the average equipment outage here, the equipment outage last 4 hours costing the company around $1 million each times. And it's over 80% of companies have experienced unexpected outage with the past 3 years. So based on the reports from the Energy Department of the United States that told us that if you customer they use the predictive maintenance solution in their factories, they can actually reduce 20 to 30% reduction in maintenance cost, and it can also increase the 20 and 25% in productions. So this is the benefit that we can actually, the customer actually feels in feels after they choose to use the predictive maintenance solution in their factory. So let's get into the topic today. So here's our solution, WISE-2410. So first, this solution follows the worldwide facility inspection standard called the ISO 10816. And WISE-2410 directed to all the mathematics things inside and gives users the right vibration parameters to help them to understand the health status of their facilities. And I'll share these standards in details in my next page. And second, with the long range wide wireless coverage, the LoRa wireless technology, the signal coverage mentioned here can up to 150 meters inside the factories and can cover around 500 meters away in campus or in rooftops. And the line of sight test, we have found that it can up to several kilometers away. And moreover, with these low power consumptions designs, the WISE-2410 can be powered by two AA batteries, and the battery life can up to 2 years with once per 30 minutes data update cycle. And third, the sensor is with the 3x detection solution and between 10 to 1000 hertz range. And so one sensor for 3x detections also can saving some solution cost. So what is ISO 10816? The ISO 10816 provides guidelines for evaluating the vibration velocity room square values, and for most of the rotating facilities like motors, pump, fans, compressors, this kind of facilities. And it defines 4 classes by using the horsepower or the powers of the motors. So for example, if your motor is under 20 horsepower or 15 kilowatts, so it will be locating in the class 1, the small machines, these areas. So now you can see you have the limitation of the health status of your facilities. So customer can cross-matching the values on 2410s, which is the velocity room square values with this table and easily understand the health status of their facilities. And this is all the magic behind our solutions. So when 2410 wakes up and it will detect 6,600 vibration data in 1 second. This is a tiny domain data we mentioned here, and 2410 will convert this data to frequency domain data through the Fourier transforms. And the frequency domain data will be between 0 to 1 kHz range. And the WISE-2410 will use this data and calculate to specific vibration parameters like the velocity rooming square values, which is mentioned can cross-match in the ISO 10816 table, and also acceleration peak, displacement, cross-factor kurtosis, these kind of vibration parameters, and to customers for evaluating in their systems. And once the process is done, you will send to customer service through the LoRaWAN technology and go back to sleep. And this is how you mount the 2410 on your facilities. So you can directly still mount with the suit in the package. Or if you don't know which is the best position for sensor, then you can use the magnetic base for trial. And if you have confidence, then you can directly use the metal base with epoxies and direct fix the metal base on the facilities and fix the 2410 on the metal base for inspection application. And for most of condition, we suggest you mount 2410 in Z-axis directions because it's more stable and it's more easier for any kind of applications. And this is the basic target application for 2410s. So you can see that in most of the rotating facility like pumps, water pumps, or oil pumps, and fan motors, blow ventilation motors, compressors, motors for cam yard. This is all our targets for 2410s. So this is how it goes on site. So first, we mount the 2410 with Z-axis directions on the motors, and second, we check the information deck nearby the motors. So you can see that the information deck shows the motor is actually 10 HP, 10 horsepower. So now we can have our limitation, our thresholds by checking the ISO 10816 table. So the 10 horsepower were located in class ones. So now customer can easily understand the health status of these water pump. And several cases I would like to share in this webinar. So most dangerous chemicals are used in high-tech product manufacturing. So not only are these chemical dangerous and pollutings, the waste disposal is difficult and challenging to management. So the factories must install the waste disposal systems to ensure the safety of their employees and the environment. And the factory must also constantly check their waste disposal systems by routine inspections. However, for plants with a high number of inspection checkpoints, a lot of human resources are needed to complete the task, so which can be very time consuming. So what's more, the industrial waste output points are often high up on the rooftop, something like the image I'm showing here. And so the inspections themselves presents dangerous challenge for inspectors. And what Advantech can provide is we provide the LoRaWAN basis automatic monitoring solution for factories. So customer can easily use our solutions and getting all the data, hundreds of thousands of motors data in once. So and they can continually monitor all the health status of these facilities. So this is again some and the same concept with previous case, and the HVAC system is commonly used in park or campus buildings, such like hospitals, office, college, and to ensure the system quality, customer is using 2410 to monitor the water pumps and also the fan motors here, including tower for facilities maintenance application, so we can ensure the system runs properly. And another case in automobile industries, moisture and saturations are the top two major problems for tools and painting. So customer is using the 2410 for spread compressor monitoring application to ensure the painting qualities during the manufacture process. And the paper making is complex production process. We are using large pieces of equipment with many fast-moving parts. A large number of motors are using to drive the cam yards here, the cam yard belt on the production lines. And the loss of any single motors will lead to the shutdown and loss of capacities. So it's necessary production equipment include the motors, gears and bearings, fans, compressor, rolling, drying cylinders. This kind of stuff needs to be monitored with for avoiding the sudden downtime. So same scenarios in food and beverage applications. Actually, there are these kind of the cases which I shared. They are all continuous manufacturing processing. So the whole manufacturing process is use lots of modern pumps for grading, mixing, drying, and delivering. All the delivering process will use the motors. So there are hundreds of thousands of rotating facilities need to be taken care of. So with the wireless 2410 solutions, we can ensure the quality of manufacturing process and help our customer to increase the output and the revenue as well. So in the last, besides the WISE-2410s, Advantech actually can provide more. So this is the whole pictures, the LoRaWAN solution we provide to the world. The system will need a gateway. This WISE-60 and it supports the MQTT and Modbus protocols. Can connect to can communicate with the customer's internal systems. And for device portions, we have all-in-one sensor 2410s I share with you guys today. And then we also have 4610 with different kind of IO module for different kinds of industrial applications, such like the S615, the 4 RTD channels for temperature monitoring applications, and have some combinations IO like WISE S617. So we have AI, DI, and digital output, and also support 145 for meter and sensing solutions. And we also have some entry level solutions to provide the simple IO, so allow customer to direct connect to their meters and do the data acquisition application in their factories. So this is my presentation today. Thank you guys. And if you want to know more about the WISE-2410, and Halim, our senior application engineer, will share more in next sections. Okay, pass to you, Halim.
All right. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining this session. So thank you for from Ku explaining the basic concept of it, and also Stanley on the good successful story and how the mechanism of this sensor looks like. So for my portion, I will focus on two things. All right. So I will focus on how to start with WISE 2410. After you purchase 2410, what can you do with it? All right. Okay. So first of all, I will explain a little bit. Okay, on the ISO standard, the inspection standard. Okay. Secondly, on the battery power portion, how can we power up this unit, the sensor? All right. Okay, this is the outline for today. So basically, on the ISO standard 10816 standard, and what is the relationship with the vibration itself. All right. Then the suggesting threshold for this ISO. Then we can go for the installation concept. Then after that, the power on options. All right, let's move on into it. So what is DIN ISO 10816 Industries? It is a long name. Okay, all right. So it is handled by an organization that come up with this ISO. All right. The function of it is to measure and evaluate should be made in accordance to the ISO standard. So what are the type of machine of pumps or equipment that categorized under this? It is a mechanical vibration measured on a non-rotating parts. Vibration test in machines coupled with rated power. So in simpler terms, okay, it is a mechanical vibration on a non-rotating part. So such as blower, it is a static machine, motor, blower, and so on. It is not suitable for, let's say, a CNC spindle, something that is moving around X, Y, and Z axis, right? So that is what they mean by non-rotating parts. It's not that the blower of the motor, no, it is not that. It is meant something that is moving. So something that is moving like a spindle and all that, it's outside of this scope, all right? So it will focus on a machine that has a static movement, all right, such as motor, blower, pumps, a chiller, inverter, and so on, all right, okay, and it will have the baseline of the vibration, okay, coupled with the rated power. So it means it differentiate between classes. So as mentioned by Stanley earlier, we have 4 types of classes: class 1, class 2, class 3, and class 4. So class 1, each of them, it is separated by the rated power, the horsepower. All right. Okay, one more thing, which is quite important as well. This standard is being reviewed every 5 years. So this standard started in 2009, okay, and last reviewed in 2019. So in 2024, they're going to review it one more time. Then it will continuously review for every 5 years. Okay, now we move on. What are the characteristics for us to comply with this standard? All right. So the first characteristic is that the sensor must at least have a 1 kilohertz frequency. All right, it can go up to 1 kilohertz frequency range. All right, that is the requirement. So our sensor, okay, the answer to that is our sensor able to have a built-in 10 to 1 kilohertz vibration sensor. So the first characteristic we're able to comply. All right, then plus we have a built-in temperature sensor. So at the bottom of the sensor, we have a built-in temperature sensor. Why? Because to detect the temperature, and normally when you have a machine that have a high temperature, it indicates a oil lubricating failure, leakage issue, something like that. All right. So this temperature value is important as well to your motors and pumps and so on. Secondly, it must be calculated, okay, the standard of ISO, it must be calculated in velocity RMS. So it is for those who quite new in the vibration world, velocity RMS is widely used. Okay, first you have raw data, raw vibration data. All right, the vibration data is varies and also ups and down. It's very hard for us to see. So what we can do, they will convert it into FFT value. So basically, it convert into a fast Fourier transformation, fast Fourier transform. Okay, under that, with a certain formula, you can calculate velocity RMS. So traditionally, what you need to do is you have a vibration sensor, you collect the raw data. Okay, this raw data, we call it as time domain data. So it means that what is the vibration over a period of time. All right, it's quite simple. So from here, we need to convert it into a frequency-based data. So we have to do it manually. All right, previously we have to do it manually. So the beauty of our sensor is that it has a microprocessor inside that will directly convert from the time domain data into a frequency-based data. So that is the beauty of it, and it will give out 8 different types of characteristic of data. One of it, and the most important, is velocity RMS. So we are able to comply with the requirement. Thirdly, so for us to comply with this ISO standard, we need to have a 2 evaluation zone so that we can define the vibration severity. All right, so how can we do that? Okay, so by leveraging WISE-Pass is basically Advantech own SCADA system. All right, we can set up to how many threshold that we want. So we can set 2 threshold, 3 threshold, and so on. So we can do that. There's no issue. However, good thing, our sensor also able to give us an alarm on a 2 separate threshold. So not only 1 threshold, but 2 for our sensor. Next, this is not the requirement from the ISO. This is an add-on function. Okay, so add-on function is connect to the IoT world. So because nowadays people talk about industry 4.0, IoT, and so on. One of the reason why we want to do this kind of monitoring as well, that we have a connected machine that we can monitor and all that. So by having this, either connect to a public cloud or private on-premise cloud, or your own private server, your own server, and all that. All right, so we could do that. We could leverage on our couple of middleware, couple of software, and couple of programming tools, such example Node-RED and all that. Okay, we can send it to different SCADA system and so on. We could do that. All right, so next, we suggesting the threshold of ISO 10816. All right, so as I mentioned, these are the chart. Okay, this is the chart. As you can see, we have a class 1, class 2, class 3, and class 4. All right, so class 1, it is categorized as anything below the 15 kilowatt, okay, which is around 20 horsepower. So how for us to see this chart is that, you see, for class 1, anything above than 0.1, okay, is considered satisfactory. And anything above 4.5, it is considered unacceptable. So we could put a threshold here. So we could put threshold number 1 over here, right? Okay, and also the threshold number 2. So we could have like a bar line that we can see. All right, so anything above that, it will pop up an alarm. For example, you can do all kind of SCADA manipulation on this, right? I believe you guys are understand up to this portion, right? So it is how we suggest customer to do the threshold. Threshold number 1 could be on a good change to satisfactory, and threshold number 2 from unsatisfactory change to unacceptable. All right. Next, installation concept. All right, we move on to installation concept. So ISO has some definition of acceptable installation. First of all, it is installed at the edge of it. We can look the type of your pump, motor, and so on. Okay, we could advise you, okay, if you want to have more detail, but in general, okay, we put at the edge of it. And also, as mentioned by Stanley, the best application, if the most stable, is we put at the Z axis vertically. All right, so X radial and also axial parallel to the radial is parallel to the motor, and axial is perpendicular to the motor, in this kind of manner, because you can have the most accurate reading. And we need to put in the center of our motor and so on. So we have a measuring point for pedestal bearing and so on. So this is the acceptable ISO defined installation. All right. Next, I just want to mention that what kind of mounting option, which have been mentioned by Stanley. So we have 3 types of mounting option. We have a stud mount, which is come in the package itself. All right. Number 2 for magnetic base. So magnetic base is quite good because you could have a testing. You can test which spot have the best characteristic, you can adjust it and so on. And thirdly, to have something like more like a permanent base, you could put a adhesive metal base, right? So the mounting would be like permanent, all right? However, you still can remove it, the sensor, if let's say, for example, after 10 years, you want to change the sensor and so on, you still can plug out the sensor, because from the metal base to the sensor using a screw type. Okay. All right. So on the installation on the magnet base itself, okay, make sure that it is properly fit, something like this. So if you have something like this that have a gap and all that, so this is not considered, it is not fit. So we need to properly align it so that it is fit and contact properly with the machine itself. Okay, so this is the part number basically for the magnet base. Don't worry, you guys don't have to remember the part number. It is for us to advise you on it. So when you come to us, we will ask this kind of question. What kind of mounting do you think you would do? And we can propose magnet base, metal base, and so on. All right, so this is the example of a metal base. Okay, you can see here, we put a metal base over here and we put epoxy for the adhesive of it. All right, so you could detect more accurate vibration and also temperature sensing in the real application. All right, okay, now we go on to power on option. As mentioned earlier, this sensor, this guy can be powered up using two methods. First one is using battery. Okay, it uses I will not say a specialized battery, but you can find it here in the market as well. It is called a lithium thionyl chloride battery. So the voltage for each of the battery is 3.6 volts. Okay, and you need to use two of it. All right. Or you can also power up this device by using your USB cable. So normally what we would suggest to the customer is that first, for the configuration portion, to get the data to streamline everything, you use USB first. All right, until you're able to set out your parameters and so on. Okay, then you put in batteries. Okay. So the installation of the battery, you need to unplug the cover of it. You twist the cover of it, then you can take out the cover. Then you can see this connector. So this is the connector for the battery itself. You can then put two battery according to the sticker direction, plus and minus. Quite easy. But the last one is a little bit tricky. It is would be nice if, let's say, you're able to put the wire in the slot here. Okay, so when you press down back the cover, right, so I would highly suggest you to put the wire in the slot here so that it will have a better long lasting condition. Because sometimes if it trip over here, right, sometimes the wire might get cut or something like that. Okay, now in terms of battery discharge behavior, sometimes customer comes to me and say that, hey, I purchased a battery, all right. However, after a brief period of time, the battery unable to send out data. So it is a different description from the battery data sheet itself. So might be the battery that you're using is faulty, right? Might be. So let's say it is matching up to the description of the data sheet. So you might need to consider on your working environment. So where I elaborate on the working environment is the temperature of the working environment and also the data uplink interval into your battery plan. So for example, what kind of frequency that you are looking for? Are you looking into update the value for every half an hour? Okay, or update the value for every 10 minutes, for example. So for our battery that we suggested, mean that battery that you can purchase from us, we are rated for every 30 minutes update interval, it can stand up to 2 years. Okay, so if let's say you are sending out data every 10 minutes, so 2 years you have to divide by 3. So that's how we calculate. Okay, so different brand would have a different characteristic and would have a different discharge behavior. So these are some of the types of battery that can use, the range stuff, if and so on. For Advantech, from our data sheet, we are using that cell. Okay, all right. So basically, you need to check on the data sheet itself. What is the discharge rate? So to give you an example, all right. So battery is the discharge rate is largely depends on the environment temperature. So for example, at 50 degrees, okay, it will discharge faster, okay, whereby at the lower temperature, it will discharge lower, okay. So you need to check on the battery discharge rate. All right, so these are some testing that have been done from our side, okay. So there are a lot of explanation, okay, which I can share to you on what are the testing parameters that we have done. So basically, in short, is that so we testing under 50 degrees environment. So when the battery voltage is 3.3 volts, it means that only 10% left for the sensor to use, whereby for negative 20 degree, it will have a lower voltage threshold. So 3 volts, it means that 10% left. So because of the battery discharge capacity, so we can see the relationship between the battery life and battery voltage from this link over here. All right, so it will describe in details what are the testing parameters and so on. So I will not go into details for this one. However, you guys can have a look when you guys are keen on understanding the function of it. However, we also done on a update in interval, okay, at the extreme temperature, means that negative 20 is quite an extreme temperature. Even though the battery threshold is lower, however, it will deplete faster. All right, you see here, all right, for 50 degrees and also negative 20 degrees. So the x-axis is the measurement interval. So this one is 600 seconds, 900 seconds, 1,800 seconds, 3,600 seconds, and 46,400 seconds. All right, so means that data will be sent to the gateway for every 600 seconds. This one, data will send to the gateway for every 900 seconds, something like that. So for 50 degrees, okay, the battery could last up to 1.6 years, whereby for negative 20, it will last 0.2. So 0.2 years is around 2 months. Yeah, yeah, it's around two months plus. So there are wide difference between the extreme of the environment. So what I would like to emphasize is that the environment temperature will affect the battery lifespan and all. Okay. Next, this one is one of the successful story has been mentioned by Stanley, but I just want to recap back what we need to do. All right. First, we need to look at these 3 steps. Okay, step number 1 is to understand the threshold. Step number 2 is to set the threshold. Step number 3 is to put on the battery. Step number 2 is for the installation. Step number 3 is the power up mechanism. After that, just briefly, if let's say you guys didn't catch earlier on, because this one sending up in terms of wireless communication, which is in this case LoRaWAN. So the sensor itself will grab the data, okay? So this is a physical connection. It will get the data, okay, from time domain and will convert to FFT. From FFT, we can get the velocity RMS and it will send the data wirelessly to a gateway. So LoRaWAN will need a gateway. So you will send the data to the gateway. The gateway you can place in a control room and all that, okay? So per gateway, for this gateway, it can go up to 500 units. So it means that it can connect up to 500 sensors, okay, per gateway. Then from this gateway, okay, we have a variety of method for us to send to your SCADA system or you want to build a web application, for example. So what this gateway can do is it can translate back the data into Modbus. In this case, they're using Modbus. So You can read back the data using Modbus to your SCADA system, for example. You can also send a data using RESTful API for your web application. You want to build your own web application. And thirdly, what you can do is, let's say you want to connect to the cloud. So mostly of the cloud, they use MQTT. So you can use that as well. So from this gateway, you can send out to three different types of sources. You can send into Modbus for one application, RESTful one application, and MQTT into one application. All right, I think that's all from my side. Okay, so after this, we're going to have a live demonstration of our sensor, and also on a little bit on our SCADA configuration, what is the threshold and so on. So I will pass the floor to my colleague, Shawit.
I guess everyone can see my screen. So hello everyone, my name is Soe. Today I'm going to present to you two parts. One is how to install the WISE-2410 into the gateway and how to enable the Modbus mapping table. Secondly, I will use the web access data to get the data from the gateway and display it in the WISE-Pass dashboard. So I'll give a little introductions about our software, web access SCADA. So web access SCADA is actually capable of getting most of the industrial application protocols like Modbus, OPC-UA, BACnet, okay, and also it can support multiple types of the PLC like Omron, Siemens, those are popular, and IoT device, the WISE devices, okay, CNC machine, and many more. So we can integrate with databases also, for let's say where you have vibration features, characteristic, the data, and you want to store it in your own database, you can able to through web access data to send the data, to log the data into your own database like Postgres, SQL, MySQL, MS SQL. Okay, sorry. And then next, we will moving up to visualization, where we have the WISE-Pass dashboard or SAS Composer to do the integration of 2D, 3D design and dashboard visualization using the graph panel, and we have multiple panels for user to select and design their own template. And we also, through access data, we can send the data to the cloud. We have our own cloud, WISE-Pass Data Hub, or we can also integrate with others others cloud service like Aliyun, Azure, and so on. Okay, next. So one of the there is four of the benefits of using web access SCADA, where it's 100% web-based SCADA. You can access through your SCADA system either with a IP or localhost in any other browser, where we support Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Safari, and you can access through the phone also for the dashboard viewing. Okay, and next we support RESTful API for the customer to do the integrations to get the data log file, to get the project list, tag list from our web access. Okay, and we are able to penetrate into CNC market. We have a ready solution web access CNC to do the integration to get the data from CNC machine and visualize it. And we have private cloud solution as well. Next will be we support, as mentioned before, we support a lot of protocols and drivers. Okay, we have 450 kinds of devices, and one of it is OPC-UA, Modbus, and BACnet. Okay. So here is the latest features of our web access SCADA 9 version 9.1.2. Okay, we have a new project management where we supporting tree diagram, which enable user to able to view in a clearer picture. And we have a new licensing mechanism where you can subscribe in the you can purchase in the marketplace to upgrade your license or to purchase the license or to get 75 free license if you're purchasing Advantech PC. And we have a data logging into your InfluxDB, or we can use the ODBC to store the data into the Postgres and other databases. We have a support Chrome kernel in ViewDQ, alarm summary panel, where you, for let's say it's WISE-2410, you want to integrate with ISO standard, you can use the alert panel to set up the range. And when the threshold is hit, and it will send the alert signal to through line, webhook, Telegram, or email. So we have we also support free upgrade for all version. Let's say you are using the old version, 8 version, you can upgrade to the 9, or you have a 9.0 version, you can upgrade to 9.1, so on. And we have MQTT communication, where we have customized MQTT to get the data from your customized MQTT client itself, or we have a web access MQTT connector, or we also can act like a MQTT broker. So we have a dashboard, SaaS Composer, and OpenUA tag, OpenUA server enabling, and line WeChat notification, also a new installation package. So here is the live demo setup environment where we actually using the motor 0.12 kilowatt motors, and we install vibration sensor into it, and using the direct power supply to power on the vibration sensor, and then we send the data to another shop log and we place the gateway WISE-2410 in another place to test the distance. Okay, so here's the demo of the dashboard, and the good news is if you purchase during this webinar period, we have actually built in this template into your into the web access, and we will provide this template to you so that it will ease your process of setting up the visualization portion. Okay, and we also provide this vibration SRP frame for you to access anywhere in the same, either in the same company or outside the zone using the phone. And we have this ISO template as well built in into this dashboard template. So without further delay, I will show you a video of how to set up the vibration sensor onto the machine.
Hello everyone, welcome to the webinar. Today, I'm proud to present to you our new Advantech product WISE-2410 vibration sensor. It is small but very powerful in terms of features. We have 8 vibration features and a lot of characteristics in these little things. Today, I'm going to show you how to install the vibration sensor onto the machine or the motor itself. So first thing first, we have 2 features of power mode. One is battery mode, where you need to put your battery into the battery box, where we are powered by lithium battery with H 3.6 volt, or we can also use micro USB direct power supply to plug into the vibration sensor itself. There is a port at the left side of the vibration sensor where you just need to put in your micro USB into the port and you will see the lights up. If the green color indicates that the power is on, and you just need to close the cap. Once you close the cap, you need to install it into the motor, right? So we have magnetic base which sold separately, and with today's demo we will use 0.12 kilowatt motor to demonstrate to you how to install vibration sensor onto the motor itself. So vibration sensor, you just need to, as simple as put in the surface of the motor and it will attach to it. And for your info, this magnetic base is very strong and it can attach without any problem. Okay, so you have known how to do the installation. Next, you will need to go through the WISE Studio to configure your RF module and everything inside this WISE-2410 and publish it to the gateway WISE-6610 LoRaWAN base, where this gateway we install it in another short block to test the distance of the LoRaWAN. In the live demo, I will teach you all how to do Modbus mapping in the gateway and to integrate with one of our powerful PLC, IO modules, and so on. So stay tuned and stay safe.
Okay, thank you for watching. So let's move on to the gateway setup. So first thing first, you need to log in into your LoRaWAN gateway. Okay, and then you will need to able to enable the Modbus in the gateway. You need to go to the application server. Okay, the password by default is root. Okay, and then go to the Modbus. Make sure your TCP server is on and the server port is written down. Okay, then go for the Modbus mapping table. After you adding the RF modules, your sensor into the gateway, you can actually add, if you have multiple vibration sensor, you can put on the ID like this, and then you just put the slave ID 2, for example, and then click save. Okay, because I don't have the sensor 2 sensor on my hand. So once you've done the sensor setup in this node ID and the slave ID and the type, you must remember to restart the application to enable the Modbus server in the gateway. So to check whether you have successfully installed this Modbus TCP Modbus server in your gateway, you actually can use the ModScan, a third-party software to detect whether the data is able to capture or not. So once you're able to capture the data, you can go to the our web access SCADA. Okay, so I will start from beginning. So you have a new interface like I mentioned in the presentation. So you just need to log in, and then you are able to access into the project management. So here you have a lot of device drivers. Okay, we support up to 450 kinds of the drivers itself. Okay, and then for this demo, you need to set up these things, and we are using the Modbus Modicon to communicate with the gateway, and you need to insert your IP of the gateway itself, and then the port, and then the device address. Next, you can, based on the Modbus table in the user manual WISE-2410, okay, for example, temperature is 40504, Modbus address. So you just need to put in your Modbus address, set up the type property like the scaling type, okay, and also the decimal digit, how many you want to display, and do you want to log to the data ODBC your database, okay. And then once you're done, you need to click download, and then you download this project. Okay, and in web access SCADA, we able to have cloud supporting. We can integrate with our own cloud solution or others cloud solution like AWS and Azure. So we also have a video display functions. Okay, scheduler, and you can write your own script to do some control in others devices, and you can enable Modbus server or the OPC server inside the SCADA, and you also can set up your alarm group management to monitor your behavior of the sensor itself. So okay, without further delay, I will move on to the template that I already built in the dashboard. So you can access through anywhere with the IP. It's just simple as that. Okay, and then you can select your project. Okay, log it in, and then you can see we have the SRP frame ready template also as well for you to refer, uh, and you can see that all the data is up, and you can check whether this is the picture of my setup. Okay, green is meaning is the device is on. Okay, device status is running, and then the ISO template we also do the comparison with the ISO class 1 small machines. So we put the range inside this sensor so it can detect, and it also can alert you when the ISO is when it when it is in unsatisfactory condition, so it will alert you. And we have a monitor this machine temperature also. So it's if you see this green color means is still in the normal conditions. Okay, we set 40 degrees threshold for the machine. Okay, and then we can monitor the 3-axis velocity as well. So good news if you join this webinar and if you are interested in purchasing this unit, so we can able to install this access SCADA and also this template to you, and you can modify it based on your preference. So to set up is very easy. Okay, so you just need to create a dashboard. Okay, select the graph or any other visualization like single stat, bar gauge, table, okay, and so on. So you can choose one of the characteristic of the vibrations, and you just set up the mode and also the title, panel title, okay, and save it. Then it's all done. So it's just simple and it's very low coding, and you are able to integrate in short period of time. So that's all for my sharing today. Thank you everyone for listening. So I will pass back the floor to Ku. Back to you.
Okay. So hi all, it's me again. So thanks for the comprehensive sharing and demo from my team itself. So let me share more information with you guys. But before that, perhaps maybe I missed out some information to you guys regarding on the frequency itself. As I mentioned just now, or as Halim or Stanley mentioned just now, right around, our vibration sensor basically using LoRaWAN frequency. Okay, as I understood today, it's not only Malaysia customer is joining, but we do have other participants for overseas as well. Okay, for LoRaWAN frequencies, right, it will depend on the each respective country. Okay, let's take Malaysia as example. Okay, the allocated frequency in Malaysia for this particular frequency will be from 919 megahertz to 924 megahertz itself. Okay, I think like Wi-Fi we are using 2.4 gigahertz or 5.0 gigahertz. For LoRaWAN have their own respective frequency also, and each of the country having their own allocated frequency. Like in Malaysia is using 919 megahertz to 924 megahertz, only able to allow. Okay, and in order to use that, we need to obtain each country respective certificate also. Like for example, in Malaysia, we need to get CIRIM certified. Okay, before that, we can implement or use this vibration sensor or this frequency. Okay, and good news to share that in Malaysia, we obtained the CIRIM certificate. So for Malaysia customer, you do not worry on the certification side. Okay, next, this is basically the roadmap for our vibration module. As you can see, actually this year is 2022. So we already have two models that already available, which is WISE-2410 and WISE-2410X. So the difference between X and non-X version is for X versions, right, is basically for oil and gas industry because it has been certified with IEC X Zone 2 certificates. Okay, both these two models already available. Okay, but on top of that, we start to coming up with a new vibration module from time to time. Like for example, towards the third quarter of this year, right, we are focusing on our WISE-2411 as well as our WISE-2460P. For WISE-2411 is similar to our WISE-2410, but you can see actually the frequency can up to 10 kilohertz already. Okay, and the vibration feature we do have up to 12 compared to 8 in the WISE-2410. Okay, while for our WISE-2460P, right, basically it's a wire-based solution but not wire-based because it will connect using RS-485. Okay, but don't worry, perhaps we can do sharing from time to time, okay, on our new product launching from our Advantech side, so that you can keep trend with the latest technology and product from Advantech. Okay, another thing that I would like to highlight or share is Advantech recently we launched an online academy. Okay, this is because upselling the knowledge is one of the things we want to do in Advantech, not only in Advantech Taiwan or Advantech Malaysia. This all the while we want to upselling the knowledge itself. Okay, not restrict to internal to Advantech staff, but we would like to share to our partner and customers. Okay, if anyone would like to know more on this academic and to have the access for it, right, feel free to contact us for more information. Okay, because inside this Advantech IoT academics, right, until today we have more than 200 ready courses for our product and also technology understanding. You guys are free to attend the courses. It will start from basic until advanced level. Because in Advantech, we would like to provide a platform of learning to all our partner and customer so that we can grow together in this industry and markets. No point that Advantech keep on growing, but we other people stagnant at one place itself. Okay, because we always believe that sharing is caring. Okay, since today our topic is on our vibration sensor WISE-2410, so actually you can see there are 3 courses that are available in our IoT academic on the WISE-2410. We do have the LoRaWAN wireless vibration sensor, Advantech WISE-2410 series. We have another courses from setting up hands-on practice training on our vibration sensor, and we got another courses on let's learn how to mount intelligent vibration and temperature sensor regarding on our WISE-2410. Okay, no worry. If you would like to know more about this IoT academic, feel free to contact us or feel free to find the Advantech person in charge that available. Okay, before we end our session today, we would like to appreciate for those people really join us today. Okay, so we are giving out a special promotion of WISE-2410 and WISE-610. But you don't ask me the price because but I can tell you the price is very attractive and you cannot get it once the promotion ends. Okay, so as I highlighted here, the promotion will start today until 13th of May, so it will last for 1 month and with a limited stock. For those who purchase during these periods, right, you're not only able to get with a special promotion price, but we were giving out a FOC SCADA step-to-step training using a WISE-2410 configuration training. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, just now there's one customer called Mr. Kong, so asking about the training on the dashboard itself. Yeah, if you're able to place the order during this period, right, we will give you a free dashboard training itself. Will be conducted by our experienced technical expert. Okay, and tentatively our training date will be set on 18th of May itself. Okay, so but we will share you more information once we confirm on the date and the time itself. Okay, so but remember the stock will be first come first serve basic. Okay, perhaps some of the customer actually they will ask, okay, cool. Actually, customer do you have some customer already have their own SCADA software or already have their own software. Okay, so do I need to purchase the software anymore? Okay, in simple word, you just purchase this in WISE-2410 and WISE-6610. You can connect it to your own SCADA software already. Okay, but if some of customer is of use, right, you say that, oh cool, I don't have any software yet. Can you propose from your side? Yes. Okay, so we got another bundle which come together with our fanless microcomputer, which AIMC 2000 with Intel Celeron spec, as well as our free 75 SCADA for you guys. Okay, providing actually this is already a total one set for you guys from the vibration sensor up until the visualization dashboard already. Okay, so we are giving out two bundles. Okay, the first bundle is without the vendor's PC and the software, but the second bundle is with the PC and the bundle software already. So it's up to you guys to choose whether you need the PC and the software or not. Okay, so you can scan the QR code for more information, or if you're not really clear on which part, you may contact our sales after this webinar. Okay, I think that's all for today. Okay, thanks for joining. We really appreciate. Okay, so please continue to stay safe and stay safe. We see you guys next time on our next webinars. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey, you made it to the end of this video. I got a lot more that you are going to enjoy. Click to watch the next one and make sure you subscribe to always know what's gonna happen. You can also leave a message and share this episode as well. See you.